Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here tonight with the 802 Cup Series here as they take on the Pocono Raceway for a beautiful, beautiful day here under the clouds in the sky here in the Pennsylvania sky. So it's going to be beautiful to race around the Tricky Triangle here for the Independence 60 here at the Pocono Raceway at the 802 Cup Series. It's going to be a fun race nonetheless to say here for these guys tonight as they take on the Tricky Triangle. And this season has been, to this point, very mixed and very filled with strategy. Here tonight, looks like the strategy is going to be a little bit less of a factor here, as we got 4 sets of tires here. As you can see, it's the 802 Cup Series here tonight, live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And like I said before, it's the Independence 60 here at the Pocono Raceway, as these guys are going to take on the Tricky Triangle and try to figure out how they can get this place mastered. But my name is Zach Hall. Joined alongside me tonight, it's going to be Brian Johnson, and we'll have our producer Robert Moyer Jr. as always up here in the booth. But Brian, back here again at the 802 Cup Series on a Sunday night here for some action. 80 laps, competition caution lap 20. What are we expecting here tonight, man?
Well, like you said, Zach, we've got, compared to some weeks, we've got some extra tires in our pit boxes tonight. So 3 sets of tires on pit road, which means a set of, a total of 4. You're talking 80 laps with the competition caution on lap 20. So that makes the strategy pretty simple. I think, you're going to want to pit when that competition caution comes out on lap 20, and then you split it up in half to the end. So, looking at doing, 20 and then 30 and 30. So strategy-wise, I think this race is going to be pretty easy, but, it's not called the Tricky Triangle for no reason. Every corner here is completely different from each other, and, just how you enter, how you, coast through the middle, and how you exit, the lines you take, they're all different. How the dirty air behind somebody is going to affect you is going to be different every corner. And so it's going to be interesting to see how these 20 guys here tonight kind of manage this race from, a saving tire standpoint and from, a racing standpoint as well. Do you push at the beginning? Do you save? Do you, what do you do? We haven't really, seen these cars at this track a lot. Pocono's not one that we go to very often, and there's not another track like it. So, a lot of questions will be answered as this race goes on.
A lot of questions indeed, as it looks like the final 10 seconds here of open qualifying are going to be going through. But due to the open qualifying here, it's also it should shift over to the timer, allowing any driver who took a time here now to finish that lap. So we got about a minute and 18 seconds here to close out these qualifying laps for these drivers in this open session. At the moment, it's Albert Reed atop the board. And, Brian, you were bringing up the competition caution there at 20. We have 60 laps from there, splitting into 30s. I was just going to think about this too, but the fuel limit being 60%, I'm thinking they possibly are not going to be able to make that 30-lap distance. I think we may need to see another pit stop added in there, but you got to throw a caution factor in there also. So there's a lot of things that could definitely throw a whole different curveball into the situation. But we'll have to see how it plays out tonight for sure, as these drivers continue to finish up the qualifying laps and see where they end up on the boards. Is it's still Albert Reed holding the top spot. He is in pit lane. Looks like Kevin Bullock, there in that second position. He's not going to improve his time, so he stays second on the board. Rob Lowell third, and David Medina fourth here. Is we're waiting out the final 17 seconds here, Brian. But open qualifying definitely adding a little bit of an interesting spiral and taste here.
Yeah, some guys don't mind open qualifying, and other people aren't really a huge fan of it because, you really have to time when you leave pit road to do your lap, because you don't want to get stuck behind somebody. You don't want, their air affecting you at all. So that's always something you got to think about in that open qualifying.
And it looks like officially now qualifying has come to an end here at the Independence 60 here at the Pocono Raceways. We're going to pull up our starting grid here tonight for the 802 Cup Series. 20 cars taking on the Tricky Triangle. It's going to be Albert Reed out front with a 54.206 starting on pole position. Alongside him, it's going to be Kevin Bullock, a newcomer in the 62. Third is going to be your winner from Atlanta, Rob Lowell in the 21. Fourth is going to be David Medina, a senior here, first race for him this season. Fifth is going to go to Gene Cato. Sixth is going to be Keith Fallon, a winner throughout this season. Seventh is going to go to Luis Addison. Eighth is Tyler Dingler, another newcomer. Ninth is Robert Fox, and rounding out the Freaky Fast top 10 is Jason Wiley.
Then in 11th place, you're going to have Zach Scott. Art Greco is going to start 12th. Mike Killenbeck in 13th. Johnny Barker is going to start 14th. Jeff Barefoot in 15th. Jacob Mazak in 16th. David Lamaga in 17th. Wayne Dewey is going to start here 18th tonight. And Rodney Roberts and Kerry Shaver are going to round out that last row there in 19th and 20th for a nice even 20-car field.
Very, very definitely even there, Brian. It's nice to see 20 cars out there tonight to do battle here at Pocono. Is going to be these drivers trying to take it on for 80 laps. But remember, that competition caution will wave at lap 20. So we'll have to see if that throws any type of factor into this race also. But Albert Reed up front, starting on pole position, getting ready to roll off the grid here in the next few moments as he finally pops in there in the 3 machine. And, Brian, I will say I do have a little bit of experience from this track in the past due to we just caught a race here past Thursday with the Stars and Stripes Cup Series at this exact venue here at Pocono. And I can tell you the draft is going to play a big factor here tonight. These guys going to have to really be looking to use that and utilize that to stay with each other. And not only that, but to save their tires for when it does get to near the very end portion of the run, you can start to pull away. But with a 60% fuel load, I don't think they'll get to that point. I think we're going to see a lot of pack style, single file style racing here tonight.
Yeah, Zach, when I was thinking through my strategy earlier, I had neglected to think about the 60% fuel. That fuel load always kind of slips my mind. So yeah, I'm with you on the, don't think they'll be able to make 30 laps. I think, once we get past that competition caution, it is going to be a multi-stop, not just a single stop. But yeah, you're right. It seems like these cars at a track where the draft is, a pretty prevalent thing that you have to use. You have to be very far into the run and have some really worn out tires to really start building that gap on anybody. So I think with that 60% fuel, I think we're going to be right on top of each other all race long.
It's going to be fun to pay attention to all night long here at the AO2 Cup Series as they take on Poconos. They come down the short chute from turn 2 down to turn 3. The track made after 3 other legendary tracks, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Milwaukee Mile, and the Trenton, New Jersey Speedway, as they head into turn 3. They're going to be looking up to the flag stand with Barney up there, ready to get our race started here tonight for 80 laps for the Independent 60 here at the Pocono Raceway. Pace car is going to take the hard left-hand turn. Barney's going to be ready, stationary with the green flag, waiting for the command, and the green flag is out. Albert Reed on the gas pedals. It's a dead even start up front with Bullock side by side. Lowell and Medina also fighting strong in that second lane as they head down to turn 1.
Yeah, here we go, turn 1, first time tonight. We'll see if the inside or outside lane is going to be the preferred one. It seems like if you're out in the lead, it doesn't really matter where you are, but actually, no, outside lane looks like to be the preferred one as you've got Albert Reed taking off, Bullock taking off and Albert Reed falling down third.
Yeah, Albert Reed there slow off of 1. That was going to allow him to slip back there a position. Rob Lowell's going to slide up into 21 up to the second position. David Medina now fighting, struggling for that 3rd spot for our pole setter. Albert Reed is a few cars dropping backwards. And looks like Gene Cato in the 8 is that driver as he pulled low. And I don't know if he's coming to pit road here or what, but he's losing positions at a rapid rate in the 8 machine after qualifying 5th.
Yeah, I think it was a case where he didn't, he's not wanting to push as hard as some of these other guys want to. Pocono can be very abusive on these tires depending on how you use them. So he might be electing to just kind of get out of the way, save some tires back there, and work to get that track position, later. But that is one thing that Pocono, when you race here, you really need a lot of this track position. So I don't know if giving all that up in one corner is going to be the thing you want to do looking down the road.
Oh, riding on board here with Tyler Dingler, a newcomer to the league here in the 69 machine here. You got the 20 of Luis Addison right behind him. He had actually made a move to the inside of Tyler Dingler, but Dingler covered it off and got a little bit close between those two. But behind this group, Robert Fox, Zach Scott, Johnny Barker, all this group back here around the 10th and 11th position, all battling here for spots as they come off of turn 3 to head down the long pond straightaway.
Yeah, I think right now guys are just trying to get sorted out. We had that open qualifying, so I think some of these guys where they started wasn't really exactly where their speed would have eventually gotten them to. I think some guys lucked out, got some faster times than maybe they would have, and some guys maybe had some slower times than they were expecting. So right now these guys are just trying to get kind of unshuffled as far as pace goes and trying to find their place in the grid and then settle down, figure out how much tires you got left, how many laps there are till the competition caution, and then pick them one by one accordingly.
Yeah, we're watching this 44 machine here of Robert Fox, and he's working that groove there, trying to get a run here off of turn number 3. Is Killenbeck behind him in the 70s actually going to have a run? He's going to look to the inside. And this is something we've seen Thursday night, Brian. This is a common syndrome that happens when you're racing at tracks like this, where this draft is so powerful. You pull to the inside of somebody, but all the other drivers up on the top line, the draft pulls that car forward, and you actually lose out now as Killenbeck's having to defend here on Rodney Roberts.
Yeah, it's as a driver, I find that pretty frustrating because you come out of the corner, you got such a better run than they do, and then you pull out, try to pass them, and then the guy behind you, before you know it's on your outside, and you haven't moved forward at all, and you're like, what the heck happened? I had such a good run. Well, that draft is just, it's so powerful, and so you really have to you can't really pass on the straights when the draft is like that. You really have to set up a pass on entry and really hope that you clear the guy by the time the exit comes.
Oh, we're seeing a little bit of action here as we're riding on board, and Addison in the 20 going to look to the inside of the 3 of Albert Reed. Here's right on board with him. You can see in the mirror. That was a great shot there to see. What these drivers see for that exact mirror is you got the 24 of Keith Fallen there, also Tyler Dingler there in that mirror, as it continues to be the 20 Addison to the inside. Albert Reed here trying to hold on, but again, that draft, look here, pulls that 3 forward as he has Lowe in front of him. Now he looked to possibly make a move to the inside. Lowe covers that off, actually hits the apron. That was a little bit of an interesting move here as they come off of the tunnel turn. It gets a little bit close there. No beating in Vega, but now the 20 to the outside of the 3. Once again, looks like Addison going to have the positioning here as the 20. Fastest in practice, trying to make his way up there, but having a little bit of trouble making some passes, but a good maneuver there on the tunnel turn to take advantage of that 3 getting checked up.
Yeah, Rob Lowell, he made a pretty big mistake there in that tunnel turn, catching a ton of the apron. And slowed both of those cars up at the 20. Did a great job of just using a little bit of patience. As whoa, you see Keith Fallen really dive on in there into turn 1, trying to clear Albert Reed there, which he does. But 20 did a great job staying patient and taking advantage.
And while all this has went down, David Medina Sr. has jumped out to the lead in the 48 machine, and just a great job by him to get past Kevin E. Bullock in the 62. So happened right before our eyes, started in that 4th position, and quickly David Medina here in his first start showing the pace that 48 machine has, and behind them Lowell and Addison battling for that 3rd position. So there's battles all around this top 5, and it's just really great to see Pocono right now setting up with some great stuff. Oh man, that group back there, you can see it in the background around Johnny Baker in the 6th machine, Zach Scott also, and Robert Fox. They're all stacked up here down the front straightaway. As you can see, get a little bit of help there from Fox's Baker, and that's going to help him here down in the 1, Brian.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Pocono is when you're racing a guy and both of you are running very similar paces, it's really tough to get away from each other. Even with the draft aside, but even that draft does keep everybody together pretty good. But Pocono, just the type of track that it is, the way it's shaped, how these turns are. You can have a great corner and pass a guy, and then next corner he has the better corner, and now he's battling you, and then you go into the 3rd corner and he's passing you back. So Pocono, when everything is right, it can be a very, very racy track, which is a lot of fun, but when you're trying to make your way up through the field and get that track position, it can be pretty frustrating.
It can definitely be that, my friend, for sure. As you're looking at this battle back here, barefoot right in front of it, it's Lamaga going backwards in the 34 is Cato, and the 44 of Fox go by him there as they take those positions. But one car I noticed that was really starting to make a lot of headway was Rodney Roberts. He's made his way into the top 10, up into that 47 machine, up 9 spots here and he's looking to possibly make a move here on Johnny Barker here. So it's this 47 here looking pretty quick, and I saw he made some pretty quick moves here late into the run, so possibly saving him a little tire.
Yeah, he definitely could have done that, but either way, picking up 9 positions, that's we're only heading on to lap 9 right now, so positional lap, that's a pretty good average so far. But like what he's doing, like the pace that he's got, very similar to David Medina. Just Medina took the lead very quietly, almost didn't even notice it. And same thing with Rodney Roberts. He was just quietly making his way up through the field, and usually that means that your pace is pretty good.
Looking good indeed as we ride on board with them here as they come off of turn number 1. Look at this Barker up ahead. A little bit of a slow exit off of 1 here is a little bit high. This is going to give the chance. Here comes the 47. Rodney Roberts trying to take another position, move himself up 10 spots here if he can make this one happen. Down into the tunnel turn. The 6 doesn't give up, but the 47 backs it up, gets a little bit of the apron. That slows him up here now. He's going to have the 43, so trying to gain the position now, going to possibly lose him too. His Killenbeck's now going to be there also.
Yeah, that tunnel turn passing on the inside can be pretty tricky because you never know just how much room the guy to your outside is going to give you. The 6 there, Johnny Barker, gave Roberts plenty of room, but Roberts wasn't expecting that amount of room, so he chose to really keep it pinned down against the line, and that just cost him a ton of speed. So, fortunately for him, he was able to hold his position, so, he can battle back up there and try to set that thing up and try again.
We've had some great battles all throughout this field through the first 10 laps. This is the start of lap 10. This will be halfway through to our stage, sorry, not our stage, our competition caution here tonight, lap 20. And we should definitely be able to make it. I believe on fuel there, 60% fuel load should definitely be able to get to that 20 marker. But then that's where I think the strategy is going to kick in, where those guys decide how long they want to go. As we're looking at a little bit of this group battling here, but it's going to be a yellow on the racetrack here as we've got the halfway in this stage. But now we're going to have a yellow that really puts a dent in that. Is now Zach Scott looks like damaged on the back straight, along with Rodney Roberts there in the 47, the driver we were watching drive up through the field along. Looks like the 44 also here, Robert Fox. So this right here collected a lot of people here on this first yellow of the night here, as it looks like we're going to go back to the freaky fast instant replay here. You're going to be seeing the 43 Scott as he's going to be coming out of the tunnel turn there. It's already happened up ahead of him, I believe. May have been a little bit of network issues here, as you're going to see the disappearing of the 47 and the coming back into the picture for that. And that's what really caused a lot of issues, is the 47 goes around the 43, gets into him, and then he just catches Robert Fox there, just unfortunately not holding the brakes as he slides back across the racetrack.
Yeah, I was watching that as it happened, and the 47 of Roberts there, he just got to the gas a little bit too soon in the tunnel turn. He was also maybe about a quarter lane higher than he wanted to be, so he just caught the wall coming out of 2, bounced off of it, and then we saw the rest of it. So just unfortunate. Had a really good run going, but just pushed the limit just a little bit too hard.
I can show you just in a blink of an eye. It can all go up in smoke. But the thing is now, Brian, the question we got to ask ourselves as they're coming down into turn 3 here for this pace lap, what do they do strategy wise? This is an interesting situation. You got that stage or the competition caution there at lap 20. I don't think you should come down here and put tires on. I mean, unless you feel confident to where you could save them for later. But I think the decision is going to be for most of these guys to stay out. Looks like Medina decided that, but it looks like Albert Reed, our pole setter, he's going to be the first one to come down. Looks like Killenbeck is going to be the next driver to follow, as a few more other drivers are going to scraggle in. As this David Lamaga, Jacob Mazak, Jason Wiley, Robert Fox, and Rodney Roberts, who are all involved in that yellow there, all going to come down to pit road. But yeah, I think the decision was made for most of this group here not to pit, just due to that competition caution coming at 20.
Yeah, I mean, looking at our leaders' lap times, everybody in the top 5, we're looking at about a second of fall off from lap 1 to lap 10. So, that's a pretty significant amount of tire wear. So, these guys that are coming down, getting those new tires, they are going to be a good amount quicker than these guys after all the tires warm up. So they might be able to take a little bit of an advantage in these next probably 6 laps that we're going to have before the competition caution. But Yeah, I mean that's pretty aggressive when it comes to the tire usage because you're putting yourself in a pretty big box of, well, when the competition caution comes out, it can't really pit for tires. So, um, now when if they pit now and then elect to stay out at the competition caution, all these guys pit. Well, now that tire difference is less than it is now. Right now, there's like a 10 lap tire difference, but then it's only going to be about a 6 lap tire difference. But still a pretty significant amount of time lost with using these tires up for 6 laps.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting situation for a few of those guys. So we'll see how it works out. Brian here is continuing to pace around the Pocono Raceway. It's a good time, I feel like, to give a shout out to some of our sponsors here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And let's give a shout out to Admin Box, one of our newest sponsors here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. That's right, it's Admin Box with 2X's. And what do you say Admin Box is? It's race control at your fingertips. It's a pre-programmed USB pre-programmed pretty much button box that has race control, driver functionality, pit options, an LED backlighting that makes each button highly visible in any situation, all in a mounted desk enclosure, just to make race control as easy as possible for all you drivers out there on iRacing, as it's built for iRacers by iRacers. So make sure you head on over to adminbox.com, use that promo code FFB/box with 2X's to get the discount code, and you can get race control at your fingertips there at the Admin Box. And also want to give a shout out to iRacing iFlag, as they're also one of our newest sponsors here. So you got the iRacing iFlag yellow up there. You can see flashing on our ticker too. You should head on over to iRacingIFlag.com, as they're going to have their 64 LED visual flag system that gives you the most information out there. Not only does it tell you what the flag state is out on track, you can customize it with multiple different things, such as to be even a spotter to tell you if a car's to your left or to your right. So it's a very interesting product that you're definitely going to want to check out for your sim racing rig out there. So go head on over to iRacingIFlag.com and use that promo code FreakyFast2022 to get a discount there on your iRacing iFlag to help enhance your sim racing experience. So thank you to iRacing iFlag for being a sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasts. We'll get to more of the other sponsors here the rest of the night. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing here, Brian. This is going to be a little bit interesting here. We'll see how it works out with Medina starting out front.
Yeah, I'd imagine these guys that just pitted for tires, they're going to be making some pretty aggressive moves. So we should be having a lot of action out here right before this competition caution.
And here we get ready to go. Coming to the restart zone, Geico, as the pace car pulls in. We're getting ready to get into that zone, as now Medina's going to decide when they want to go green, and green flag is out in the air. Medina with a great start in that zone, and that's one of the new things they've brought to iRacing here, Brian. It's definitely going to be interesting to get used to that. We'll see penalties. We'll see drivers that get excellent restarts. We'll see drivers that get bad restarts. But right now, it was a good one for Medina, but behind him, it's a battle between Addison and Lowell for that third position. Lowell and Addison, though, fighting very hard off of one.
Yeah, and Addison going to just barely tap the wall. And that's going to put him and Lowell in a pretty bad situation here, as you've got Keith Fallen on the inside. They're going to be 3 wide going into the tunnel turn. I don't know if there's enough room for that.
Oh, yes, they definitely did think that was going to work, but Fallen on the bottom, he's going to be the driver to take advantage of both of those drivers getting into the wall there, as it was the 20 that bounced into Robert Lowell on the inside. And right there, Fallen still trying to complete the pass on the 20 as he's gotten by the 21. Now it's going to be Tyler Dingler on the outside of Rob here, trying to make that outer groove work. Lowell losing out here on this restart after being in the third position, not where he wants to be, stuck on that bottom side, as it looks like Fallen trying to play the side draft here to get the 20. The same for Lowell. This is beautiful racing here, as it's letting our top two gap the field though.
Yeah, first and second just kind of driving away right now. This is exactly what they want to see, even though we've got a caution coming up soon. But, man, that 20 of Addison, he is flirting with the wall every single corner. Same thing with Lowell and Dingler there. They're flirting with each other, coming very close to hitting each other. But, man, good racing.
Definitely some great racing as we look on board from Addison's point of view. He's got that outer groove working there through the tunnel turn, and it's just staying stacked up, Fallen, trying to make something happen here, but just cannot complete the pass there on the bottom lane. It's been tough to see for him tonight, as winner from Bristol. Getting a little bump there from our winner from Atlanta. Rob Lowell is there, going to race side by side there. Now it's going to give Dingler the shot here to get side by side and go by, along with Cato. The outside line is stacking up here. Lowell and Fallen stuck there. Now Dingler going to make the move on the 20 machine there, going into one. This is getting spicy here, guys, as Dingler's going to make the pass up into third. Can Addison get back to the outside?
Yeah, Dingler really sent it into turn one that time. It was kind of like a half slide job almost, but able to clear the 20 of Addison coming out of turn one. But they are still bumper to bumper out there with, Lowell and the 24 car there on the inside, back bumper to bumper down there too.
It's stacking up here in the tunnel third as the racing continues to be excellent. Right here in the middle of this field is Fallen, trying to find a spot to get into. Now Cato going to drop to the inside line down in front of him. He's going for the position on Addison. Is this Lowell up into Barker up top there in the top groove? This is race has been great as Addison bounces off the wall once more again. But I tell you what, Brian, these cars are tough.
They are. I mean, these cars, they can really take a beating with this new damage model. There's been a couple times where I've seen cars that they'll hit the wall, they'll break that right front toe length before they get any kind of body damage. So the bodies of these cars are really, really hard, really, really tough now. So, you got to hit that wall pretty hard to get any damage. So, as much as we've seen these cars hit the wall past couple laps, their cars are perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think the one thing we know that lurks that can be the dangerous thing with this car is those tires. The contact of that, and Dingler there getting into the wall out of the tunnel turn. He definitely had a little touch there. But I tell you what, every time these guys touch the wall, I look at a lot of the right sides, no problems for any of these guys. So definitely looking great for their positions. Is now look at this, Cato making the hard charge up. Remember, he was qualified in that fifth position. He pulled left, let everybody go by. I think he saved a little bit of something here, Brian. Cato using all of those tires now.
Yeah, that caution really helped him because, when you elect to save that much tire as he did, you give up a lot of time on the track. So at the end of the run, yeah, you've got better tires, but, you've got to make up for that lost time. But that caution really helped him out and got him back up to, really scrunch the field down and got him back up to his competitors. So, this has worked out really well for him.
That has. There's this continue to be great battling back here for these positions as Medina up front has opened up a 1.2 second gap as his continual domination of this race so far has been impressive to see. But back there it's Fallen and Lowell racing position. It looks like Lowell going to get the pass on him as he goes around the outside back there to make the pass for six. Fallen struggling right now. This going to be Zach Scott. And the 43 was involved in just one of these incidents a while ago. He's going to be trying to make something happen on this 24 now down the middle.
Yeah, I think in three, Keith Fallen had caught the 20 car of Addison a little bit more quickly than he thought, and that dirty air all of a sudden really got his car really tight, so he had to check up, and now the 43's all over.
Great battling here from these guys all throughout the field. Scott taking a look to one of our winners here earlier from the season in Bristol, of Fallen, who's been so strong at each and every track. He said Pocono, though, was going to be the struggle for him. He felt like this was going to be a track that didn't suit him, and right now he's doing a great job to fight with what he has in that race car right now to hold on to seventh. But up front, it's going to be David Medina Sr. He's going to look up to the flagman there. It's going to be the start of lap 20. We'll probably be seeing the competition caution here in the next few moments here at any time as Medina just driving lights out so far. 2.5 second lead all the way back to Kevin Bullock. Gene Cato 3.5 seconds back. Then Tyler Dingler right behind him as we might have to be the completion in lap 20 here as we'll get that competition caution. But nope, there it is right there as competition caution's out. And yellow flag flies, Brian.
Yeah, good little run there by everybody. Except for a couple brushes with the wall, everybody managed to stay out of trouble. And, now we'll get to see, who is going to come down for tires. If, those guys who had pitted on that caution before, are they going to come down and get another set, or are they going to stay out? So, we could have a shuffle of some track position here shortly.
Shuffle of the deck possible here as we got this competition caution bringing us to these pace laps. I think we're going to have a busy pit road indeed. We're going to have to see how all that works out. But us up here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting, we're going to go to our first commercial break of the night here at the Pocono Raceway in the 802 Cup Series. We'll be right back here after pit stops. And we are back here, folks, after our quick commercial break here for the Independence 60 here at the Pocono Raceway. Looks like we got some strategy playing out here, Brian. We got Kerry Shaver up front in the 18 machine staying out along with Zach Scott. Those two going to hold the top two positions.
Yeah, that's definitely a good look for him as far as track position goes. But I got a question. How is their pace going to be on those older tires compared to with all of these other guys? I mean, we've seen David Medina just putting on almost a blistering pace so far. So, how messy could this get, and how quickly is David Medina going to be able to pass these guys and start building that lead back up?
I think the big thing we're going to need to see on this restart is patience. Patience is. Looks like Kerry Shaver, in the 18 machine, a little bit in the wrong spot here. Might get a penalty for this restart, going a little bit quicker possibly than he needs to go. And he pulls low left here, trying to let everybody by, I believe. So Kerry Shaver going to be going to the back as Zach Scott's fighting off the 62 of Kevin Bullock up front. It's going to be David Medina there, stuck on the outside, as now Bullock's going to take the lead.
Yeah, I gotta say I really wasn't expecting to see that, but either way, good job of letting everybody go around and have their own race there. But Medina so far trapped there behind a couple cars there on the outside lane, and the 43 and the looks like the 62 there are going to be side by side as coming out of tunnel turn, and Rob Lowell just barely going to tap him coming out of two, and that's going to stack everybody up.
It's a huge stack up, 3 wide heading into the corner here in turn 3. This is a flat corner. Oh, it's almost up into Medina as the 24 Fallen, who drove really deep into there. This is getting crazy. Medina, though, well, not the winner, but the leader at the end of that competition caution there, and was really looking dominant. Stuck back here in this pack. He's going to have to be careful here. He's got the pace. He just has to make it back through this, and right now it's getting a little bit hairy.
Yeah, these guys, they're racing like it's almost the last lap, pretty much. So Medina, he's being smart right now. He's kind of, doing the thing of a lot of give and take right now. He's just being very patient, making sure he doesn't use up any more tire than he needs to, and making sure he puts his car in a place where it's not going to get too much, it's not a whole lot of risk involved. So, these guys starting to get single file, and he'll start picking off these guys as the laps start winding down. And, crisis averted for the 48 car.
3 wide here off of 3. The 3 in the middle there is Albert Reed, as he's going to make the pass. Addison drops backwards, falling with the run there with the draft. As you got side by side up ahead of him, you got Dingler and Cato, and the 8 and the 69 there, all racing side by side here. As this has been great racing now, as Zach Scott gives up the second spot to Rob Lowell up ahead. Their spots changing all over this leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, we got guys side by side, probably in about 4 or 5 different places in this pack. Towards the back, these guys are pretty lined up, but right here in the middle, right around pretty much from Keith Fallen up to second place to Rob Wall, these guys are right on top of each other.
Looks like it's single filed out there, luckily for Medina, as he's gotten through majority of the field, as he's up to the 3rd spot now. It's Cato trying to make position on Scott, who stayed out there. Now it's going to be Dingler who's going to push that 8 machine with the 69 down the front straightaway here at Pocono. I think smart decision to go with the 8 of Cato, who he's seen earlier in this run was very quick. So you got to pick and choose your battles. Is up there Medina making the move on Lowell. He's already trying to charge to the lead as he's made that spot.
Yeah, and I don't know if Medina, really went into turn 1 with a little bit of intent, or if Lowell there just kind of made it easy on him and kind of gave it to him. But Medina really passed him in a hurry, able to clear him, and now he's only got one more car between him and the lead, and he can, pick up right back where he left off.
Really interesting scenario, because we know we cannot make that one stop happen from here. Definitely going to be an interesting scenario where I think you're going to see some guys coming down pretty quickly into the run, or will it be close on fuel? I mean, if you popped off, possibly there at the end of that yellow flag there, we didn't go green till lap 24. It is possible to say that someone could try to stretch it into a one stop. Maybe we'll see something like that happen, but right now the strategy is from our point of view, a little bit cut and dry here. Is we'll probably be seeing pit stops around 40, I imagine.
Yeah, but somewhere between 40 and 45, because or maybe even 50, because I'd imagine probably looking right around maybe 25, 28 laps at the very, very most. Um, so, uh, it kind of depends on how many tires you got left for one, because I think some of these guys might have already used two sets. So, how many tires you got left, and just kind of how you want to play this. One thing you do have to think about with these green flag pit stops, though, is that even though you got the dirty air in the corner, you get some draft on the straightaway. So, is it faster to pit with somebody and be able to tow each other around? So these guys are going to have to think about that and maybe want to pit with somebody.
Riding on board here with Greco in the 88 machine. He's having a quiet but great race, like 12th up to 8th, so great spot for him there. Is up ahead of him. He's got the pole setter, Albert Reed, also Tyler Dingler, Gene Cato, Rob Lowe, and Luis Addison, which all of these drivers making big moves. Addison makes a pass, but Cato goes around after getting on the apron. That's going to be a caution.
Yeah, just caught a lot of the apron. That's the thing about turn 2 is that if you can hook the bottom in just the exact right way, you can make it really fast. You can get to the gas a lot quicker than if you were, a quarter of a lane higher, but you've got to hit it perfectly. And, when you're trying to hit that thing perfectly, occasionally you can catch the apron.
You can see this in the freaking fast replay. It was Tyler Dingler who made the pass on the outside line there. But as you can see, look, on the apron, a lot of the race car on the apron there. And just that unloads that car. And from there, just losing the rear end. And, man, Cato going for a while, a little bit of a ride there. It's going to make contact with that rear end. But not too damaging. And, also we got 2 fast repairs here at the 802 Cup Series. So, probably going to be able to get that car repaired, and we'll see how it works out for him. He was very good on the long runs. That's unfortunate to see, but he'll be able to make his way back up.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of right rear damage there to that bumper, so I think he could probably go without using a fast repair for that. That looks like just a little bit of body damage. So, and with it being on the rear, not going to affect his aero a ton. So he should be able to just take that damage as it is without using a fast repair, and keep those 2 for a rainy day.
Well, Brian, I tell you what, I kind of agree with you. You said earlier 25 laps, 28 laps. I'm thinking 25 would be about the extent here on a 60% fuel load. We're 50 laps away from the end of this race now. Pit road about to open up here. What does Bullock do up front? What does Medina decide to do? I think this is a no-brainer coming down to pit road. It's just the question of, do you also take the tires with it? But look at this. A lot of guys staying out. Even Bullock coming back up on the racetrack. So they must know something we don't know. Is a few drivers, very few drivers electing to take pit road. I mean, it's going to be all the way back to Zach Scott in the 11th position. He's going to hit pit road with Robert Fox, Wayne Dewey, the winner from Daytona, Jeff Barefoot, also Gene Cato, and Johnny Barker. So all these drivers hitting pit road there. I think this puts them in a possibility to make it on a one stop.
Yeah, Zach, I was thinking, if I'm anybody outside of the top 10 with, a field of this size, I'm coming down pit road and I'm just topping off on fuel. I'm not going to take tires. I still want those 2 sets sitting there for me. But I'm going to come in, top off, and then, make it that one-stop race and, pit for tires 25 laps in, halfway through. And then if a caution comes out at the end of the race, I've still got another set to where if we have a green, white, checkered, then I've got fresh tires. So, I really like the call of these guys coming down pit road as long as they don't take tires right now. I don't think taking tires right now is a good use of those tires. But yeah, definitely if you got the chance, top off on some fuel.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, my friend. Definitely don't want to be wasting a set of tires, but you want to get that Sunoco race fuel to try to make this 80-lap race distance, and it's going to be so fun to see who can get it done here tonight at Pocono. So far right now, it's Bullock out front, Medina in second, Addison in third. That's a definite top 3. That's very interesting to see so far, as Lowell, our winner from Atlanta, there in that 4th position, Tyler Dingler in the 5th position. So 3 new drivers in that top 5, Brian. It's definitely a new addition to the field here, and it's been fun to watch here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely does give it a new dynamic up front because usually it was pretty clean cut and dry. Is that you have Rob Lowell, he's going to save tires but still somehow be up there at the end, and then you had Killingbeck, he'd sometimes be up there, and then David Lamaga, he'd be up there as well. But these new guys really proven that like, hey, we're new but we still got a lot of speed, and so great job on them to really put another level of competition into the field.
It's definitely fun to see for sure. As these other drivers from the league are gonna be trying to strike back for sure and say, next week we're gonna be prepared for you guys. So we'll see how it all plays out through the season. But it's been great to watch so far here through the first 32 laps at Poconos. The pace car lights are off as we're gonna be going green this next time by. We seen Bullock jump out front there, Brian, and get to that quick and early lead. Medina had to fight to get his way back up there. I think it'll be an interesting battle between these two, but definitely Medina had the upper hand on the very, very long run, but maybe had to use a little bit more tire here to get back to the second position, possibly.
Yeah, well, and the other thing about it, Zach, is that we hadn't really seen a complete run on tires. We hadn't seen a full fuel run. We know Medina's good up to like maybe 10, 12 laps in the run, but we don't know past that. Is he going out there and burning up his tires, and then the last 5 laps of the run he's going to be really off the pace? We don't know because we hadn't seen it. But guys like Bullock or Addison, and of course we know Lowell there. He's good at saving tires, and even Dingler there in the top five. Over the course of a full fuel run, we don't really know who's going to be the fastest.
It's gonna be fun to see. That's no doubt for sure, man. It's definitely added a new spark here, a new fold to the field here. So we've had a fun time here at Pocono tonight. We're getting to go back green flag racing though, as this race is getting to the crucial points of it. We're getting to decide how you want to play your strategy, how you want to make your positions up. We're waiting for the Geico restart zone. As there he goes, Bullock's off and away. The green flag's out in the air. Medina able to hold on to second as Addison takes third. But Bullock with a great start. And this Geico restart zone, Brian, it's definitely added a new addition, man. I think it's going to be a very fun thing to see it grow as we learn the nuances of it as race car drivers out here.
Yeah, well, one of the nuances we just saw right then, one thing that you have to be careful about as being the second place car, as Medina was right there, is that when that pace car comes off, you have to maintain pace speed. You you uh, you can't really speed all that much. So if that pace car comes off of the track and you're not, oh, as we got a caution. But if you're not side by side, if you're not pulled up to first place as the second place car, and that pace car comes off, you can't really speed and catch up. You put yourself at risk of getting a black flag. So, and you saw Medina, he was kind of lagging back there, and when the pace car came off, he didn't have a choice but to stay back there.
Big incident to bring out our fourth caution of the night. Killing back there in the 70 involved. It looks like Zach Scott in the 43 also. We're going to go back to the freaky fast replay and see. And think it all started with this 70 machine here down in the tone turn, racing that 13 of Jason Wiley. And looks like two drivers going for the same real estate on the racetrack. The 70 coming up, the 13 holding station a little bit there, not washing up to the wall. And those two making contact. And from there, a big incident for a few guys as Scott's going to get involved and the 70 of killing back there with major damage. Going to have to definitely take a fast repair.
Yeah, got that right front tire, toe link, whatever you want to call it, is broken. So, yep, you're right. Definitely a fast repair going to be used right there.
As they'll bring it back to pit road here, we're going to see what these drivers elect to do. The field is pacing through the tunnel turn, and now lap 34. This would definitely put you in the window, to make it to the end on a one stop from here. So it'll be interesting to see if the drivers elect to make a pit stop here to make it a one stop for sure, or these caution laps might allow them now to stretch enough to make it. So we'll have to see all the different types of possibilities here. But Bullock and Medina definitely didn't come down last time, and Bullock was looking like he wanted to come down this time, not even taking a chance or even looking nowhere near pit road. Looks like he'll elect to stay out as the whole field does theirs. Ooh, I believe Luis Addison in the 20 there. I mean, he almost took the pit wall with him.
Yeah, he was trying to fool everybody else, and I think he forgot those barrels were coming up. But I think if you wanted to be very aggressive with your tire strategy, you could pit for tires under this caution, drive really, really, really hard, get as much position as you can, and then come down and take another set on that one stop that you have to take. I think that would be if you knew the race were to be going green from here on out, I think that would be a pretty good use of your tires. But um, as the race has been going on, and it seems like the direction it's going, these guys are being really, really aggressive with their moves, and unfortunately that does lead to incidents on track. So and as these laps wind down, they're just gonna keep driving more aggressive, being much more take and a lot less give. So I don't think we've seen the last of our cautions.
Very possible you have not, as the pace car lights are still on. We got a few more laps to pace around this giant speedway here at Pocono, as 2.5 miles under pace speed. It's a little bit of a long lap, so let's give this perfect time. Give a shout out to the rest of our sponsors here, and first off, we'll give a shout out to ButtKicker, our longest sponsor we've had here at Freaky Fast Broadcast. And make sure you head on over to ButtKicker.com, where you can check out their various products there, from the ButtKicker Gamer 2 to their ButtKicker Gamer Plus. So they got some great products there right now that can really immerse you into your sim. It is a physical shaker, a a bass shaker with not like a traditional speaker where it uses a physical mass, and is definitely accurate, and it gives you a loss for words, just like I had right there when you get to use that ButtKicker. So you'll definitely want to go over to ButtKicker.com and check out what they got, as you can feel what they've been missing, and use that promo code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off, as is definitely something you'll want to add to your sim racing collection. While you're at it, you can also go head on over to Advanced Sim Racing. I tell you what, they're like the eBay of sim racing. They have everything you could need. You already got your ButtKicker. We talked about your admin box. We talked about your iRacing iFlag. Well, Advanced Sim Racing, they got the rest of it. They got the racing wheels. They got the wheel bases. They got the sim rigs. Make sure you go over there and check them out. It's advancedsimracing.com. Use promo code FreakyFast5 and you can get 5% off of your purchase. So definitely want to head over there and see what they got in store for you there, so you can finish off your sim racing rig. And you'll definitely be ready to go at that point, Brian, is it looks like pace car lights are off and we're getting ready to go.
Yeah, these guys, not many laps left. We're almost halfway through this race. So, anything that you were thinking about experimenting with, or anything where you're like, oh, well, I'll let this guy pass me. It's not going to be a big deal. I'll get him later. Well, later is now. And, you really got to start preparing yourself to get the best position possible, best finish possible. So, I think these guys are really going to be putting out the elbows now.
Elbows are definitely going to be out at this point. I think it's going to definitely get a little bit aggressive here for sure. And at this point, this is the perfect time to get the position you need to get in, because this will set you up for possibly your final pit stop, your strategy that you want to play out for the rest of this race. So we'll see how it all shakes out as they're coming through 3 and 4. We're going to get ready for this next restart here, as we've had 4 cautions tonight here. One of them was a competition caution, 3 incidents right here. But we're going to go back green flag racing here at the Independence 60 at the Pocono Raceway. It's going to be Kevin Bullock leading us to the Geico restart zone. He's off and away as the green flag is off. Another great start from him there, as Medina controls second and Addison drops into third. It's a single file line there, but from about the 8th position on back, these guys are starting to make positions.
Yeah, 20 car Addison looking to the outside of Medina, but doesn't look, oh, he might squeeze up there. Yeah, he is. Coming out of 1, just barely going to be on the outside of Medina. Now Medina going to have to defend the 2nd place position before he tries to make his way to 1st.
Just pass around the outside here. We're right on board with our pole setter here, Albert reading the 3 machine. Oh, very close there in the tail turn. The tail turn always makes me a little bit scared. That wall always seems to creep up along with the exit of 3. I feel like 2 and 3, the exits off those corners always seem to be lurking right around you, as guys are trying to find all the positions they can. Addison's up to 2nd, Medina's in 3rd, and falling hold position there in the 24.
Yeah, like I say, we were talking about Medina having some really good mid-run pace about 10 laps in, but it seems like the first lap or two, he's really struggling to have a pretty good restart. He's given up positions on the past couple of restarts, so he makes up positions during the run, but then gives them up on restart. So he's kind of having to just gain the positions back that he's already doing. He's passing the same guys over and over. So now in third place, he's starting to make some better headway here, trying to get to first place. But if we get a green white checkered at the end, if he wants to win this race, he's gonna have to do a little bit better.
Well, this racing right here has been fantastic for this position at the 24 right here. Robert Lowell is back behind there. Ooh, car in the 47 looks like Ronnie Roberts. Looks like he's having some issues there. And his car, once again, as he drops it back up into the lane, looks like he's fine now as he's regaining his speed. But I tell you what, it was a battle for the lead here at the moment. Kevin Bullock had Addison looking to the inside there into the tunnel turn. That really slowed him up there. Medina almost took a chance in the 3. So our top 3 was stacked up. And then you got Albert Reed and Robert Lowell back there. Or sorry, Keith Fallen battling with Tyler Dingler and Robert Lowell right behind that. Oh, it looks like Lowell almost into the back of Reed there. That's going to check him up. That allows Dingler to get by. And also, it's going to be, it looks like Lamaga in the 34, who's had a tough night in that 17th starting spot. He's going to make his way up here.
Yeah, Lamaga just very slowly but surely making his way up to trying to get into the top 5. And we've seen him kind of do that every single race. I think he may have touched the wall there a little bit at 3. But, he's one of those guys that just, throughout the race steadily makes his way up to the front. And then by the end of the thing, you're like, where did he come from? But, doing a good job. I think he was one of those guys that was like, yeah, Pocono's not going to be my best track. But, he's making the best out of, a bad situation, I guess.
Definitely trying to make the most out of it. But here's the 88 Art Greco, who's had a great night right around 8th and 9th, pretty much all night long for him. As he's got Cato along with Barker there right behind him as this battle continues on here in the tunnel turn. It looks like the second position has changed hands also, as Medina has been able to move himself on the leaderboard up to the second spot with Addison dropping down to 3rd. But Cato fighting strong there in the 8 on the outside, trying to make that last, but just gets the run, and he's going to have the draft from the car up ahead. That's going to allow both those cars in the outside lane to pull forward.
And you saw the 88 didn't have a terrible run out of 3 there, but it's just like we talked about earlier, that draft and then just kind of the natural order of things. The outside lane's always going to have a better run out of the corner than the inside most of the time. So you put the outside lane momentum with the draft, and if you're by yourself on the inside lane, you're kind of a sitting duck.
Very hard definitely to make that pass on the inside lane there, as these guys continue to dice it up back here. Looks like Rodney Roberts on the outside of Jason Wiley there in the 13, the 6 of Barker there also up ahead, and the 43 of Scott. Everybody right here trying to find any little spot they can as the lanes are being used left and right by these guys. But I tell you what, there's a driver kind of surging forward up front, and that's Keith Fallen in the 24. He's driven himself up in the 3rd, and he's right on the back bumper of Medina along with Bullock right there up ahead. This is a 4-way battle up here now. Definitely heating up for our lead up here.
Yeah, you almost have to wonder if Keith Fallen was kind of, hiding the cards that he had. It seems like all of a sudden just, really has a leader's pace right now. So that's very interesting. I have to wonder if maybe the track has changed a little bit, maybe laid down a little bit of rubber as you see Addison into the wall coming out of 2. But, yeah, good job for Keith Fallen. He's either found something or had it all along and is just now showing it. So this really puts, another dimension into this, this fight for the lead.
It really does. I mean, he's driven himself right up into the picture, and I'm definitely interested because he didn't seem to have this type of pace before this yellow. So right now, maybe found something on the track changing for his liking, or like I said, maybe just now starting to turn it up as up ahead of Medina, starting to put the pressure on Bullock also as he continues to try to get back to that lead position where he was at before. And the question is, Brian, can they make it to around lap 55? I think that's about where you need to make it to feel pretty confident on making it to the end of this race. Right now, we're still, when we complete this lap, 12 laps away from that point. We'll see if these drivers feel like they can do that.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit close, especially if you're a guy like Kevin Bullock up there in front, been leading this whole run. And draft helps you save a little bit of fuel, with a track this big and with as much time as you're spending on the throttle pedal. I don't know exactly how much fuel you would be saving, and if it would be anything that would make a difference. But, we're seeing Medina trying to use the inside lane in turn one to get that lead back, and both of these guys dead even on pace coming out of turn one.
Very, very fun battle from these two up front, as it looks like the 62 going to be able to pull a nose ahead here as we get to see all these drivers coming down through to the tunnel turn, as it's going to be these drivers battling for the lead up front. Medina, Bullock, side by side in the three, falling right behind him. Can he take advantage of Bullock going high there? He's going to cover off the inside now as Medina takes the lead off of turn three. Falling now, trying to make something happen for the third spot. This battle up here, very spicy.
Yeah, I think if Keith Fallen right here, if he can have a good turn one and really set the 62 up for turn two, he's got a shot at trying to make a pass on him, but it's all going to depend on how he gets out of turn one right here.
The run out of one is going to be crucial, like Brian said here, as they come out of one. Doesn't look like Fallen can get what he needs to do there to pull up to the back bumper of the 62 as Medina tries to pull away from him himself. These three have pulled away, though, from Addison back in that 20 machine. But it looks like Tyler Dingler, he's moved himself up the fifth. He was behind Lowell and Reed. And where's Robert Lowell? He is actually on pit road right now on lap 45 as Dingler bounces off the wall there coming out of two. So pit stops are happening here on lap 45. They must not feel very confident on making fuel. That confused me, Brian, why the drivers did not make a pit stop there under the caution there.
Yeah, now we got 20 Addison coming down pit road as well. So I think you're definitely looking at still having to make another stop.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to stretch it from this far. So definitely another stop in tune for these guys. And this makes me not confident for the other group of drivers that stayed out. So we might be seeing another two stops from a majority of the guys yet that haven't pit yet.
Yeah, I think even we said at the beginning of this race, like, yeah, strategy going to be pretty straightforward tonight. Well, no, not exactly. Here at the 802 Cup Series, we've been kind of bamboozled by strategy every single race, which is pretty cool. Definitely keeps you on your toes. And here we are in another position where who knows who has the best strategy right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see. There was definitely drivers that pitted at those points there. It looks like Tyler Dingler now also in the 69 machine coming to pit road. So here on lap 46, that's definitely not going to get it done there to make it to the end of this race on this stop. So they must not feel very confident. It's looking at the 24 here, Fallen. He's made his way past Bullock, and he's trying to charge up to the Medina. I mean, Fallen has found something here late in this race.
Yeah, I definitely think he has. I think Bullock maybe has used up a good bit of his tires. I think he's fallen off quite a bit. But yeah, Keith Fallen, he definitely did not have this pace. As it gets a little bit the wall coming out of two there, but did not have this pace before the competition caution really early in the race, and even before this run. I don't know again if it's one of those deals where he was kind of hiding what he had, or he's just really figured it out. But he's holding pace with Medina right now, and he's the first guy in the field that has shown that he can do that.
Very interesting to see. Definitely, Brian here is Medina has slightly opened up the gap a little bit more, but it's definitely not what it was early in the race. So definitely an improvement for these guys to close the gap on him. But right here, we got some battling going on back here. It's Jason Wiley in the 13 machine. He's going to have the 11 of Wayne Dewey, but he's got the 6 on the side of his car. So that 6 machine, actually the 11 in the races. You also got Jeff Barefoot in the 99 right behind them. These drivers all 5th, 6th, and 7th. This is the group that I think right here because a lot of these guys hit pit road at that latest point. I think these guys could be the ones looking to maybe make the one-stop strategy work. And that right there, I mean, right now looking at it, you're looking all the way back to around 40 seconds. It is for the first driver who is on tires right now. So from our leaders at least, and that's 8 seconds from Wayne Dewey's behind our leader, 8 seconds. So that's another 32 seconds. That's going to be a tough time to make up that much ground.
Yeah, I mean, there is quite a bit of tire fall off. It seems like after 10 laps we got about 1 second of fall off. But yeah, I think if these guys can manage to pull off that one stop, that might be the winning strategy, even if they are going to be running a little bit slower. 40 seconds, that's a lot of time to make up. This isn't you know. I mean, you're talking about any other track. If this was, Charlotte or something, you're talking about over a lap. So these guys might have really lucked out when it comes to the strategy.
This could very well be similar to what we've seen throughout the season. Like you said, we've been kind of bamboozled by a lot of strategy this season. So it is going to be one of those nights I feel that we're not going to know till the final 10 laps of this race who is going to be in a good position to make it to the win. And, we could get a caution that throws a spiral into all of it. It looks like Killenbeck here on the apron coming to pit road, possibly in the 70. So looks like he took the access road and a little bit extra time is, actually looks like his front end is broken there. So that tire broken. So definitely unfortunate to see for Killenbeck, who's had solid runs this season. Now going to be looking probably to get that fast repair.
Yeah, Killingbeck definitely has shown some pretty good pace all season long, but I think he's been a little bit plagued by things like this, and yeah, you can see that right front getting fixed right there with that fast repair. But yeah, hopefully one of these days a race will come together for him. But man, I'm still really intrigued with these guys that might potentially be on that one stop. We actually just had Jeff Barefoot there pass Jason Wiley for second place there, and these guys behind him, talking about like the 20 car of Louis Addison and the 48 of Medina, they're still 28, 29, 30 seconds behind them. So we'll have to see where they come out after they have their pit stop, kind of what kind of pace that they're at. But gonna be very interesting. Like you said, Zach, last 10 laps, we won't really know up until then.
It's gonna be a fun time to see how it all works out for sure. This Scott right now out front, and lap 51 right here. Like I said, if you can get to that 55, 56, I feel like you got a good chance of making it to the end of this race. We'll see, can someone get there? That's gonna be a question because Medina, Lowell, Fallen, Addison, all of those drivers have said no, it's not going to be doable there for us. So we decided to hit pit road. And again, that makes the question, you could have came to pit road and topped off there on fuel during those cautions, not took tires. I know you're giving up track position, but man, you could have been sitting in a one-stop position, and saving a pit stop is a huge thing here at Pocono.
Yeah, again, it all kind of depends on the tire fall off. I mean, I guess I'll take a look at David Medina's time, since he seems to be pretty consistent. But looking at the lap times, right when he first has fresh tires, looking at like a 54.1 second lap, that's his fastest lap of the race. And then towards the end of the run, looking at the high 55 seconds, almost into the 56-second bracket. So you're talking about almost a full 2 seconds of fall off over the course of a whole fuel run. So that makes it pretty close. I feel like the amount of time left in the race after those guys come down pit road and make their one stop, I feel like that's pretty even.
The big thing that makes it also interesting for me is, if you're someone like Zach Scott, you pit here at 56, you come out with new tires, you're going to start to build a gap on them once again. So it's going to be a little bit of a push and pull back and forth, but these guys are going to have to come back to pit road. they're not going to make it a one stop here. So this group here is going to have to get the pit road. That is going to be upwards of 30 seconds of time loss. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out if it stays green. I think drivers like Zach Scott, Jeff Barefoot, Jason Wiley, Wayne Dewey, I think they all sit in the best position of anybody in this field. I don't see this gap being ran back down possibly here in these amount of laps.
Yeah, I really like the position they're in too, Zach. But you know that's why I've always left pit strategy to you, because that's that's never been my strong suit. Is you know, I can't tell, you know, with these, you know, the tire fall offs and these guys pit here and get tires there, and you know, it all kind of confuses me a little bit. So you know, I can figure out how to get through turns 1, 2, and 3, but you know, when it comes to the pit strategy, that's that can be difficult, and you know that's kind of goes into you know, a driver's, you know, their you know, driving style. Um, you know, their pit strategy style has a little bit of say into how the race goes as well. And you know, whether Zach Scott, Jeff Barefoot, and Jason Wiley you know, intended to do it, or if they just kind of lucked into it, you know, we won't really know until after the race. But you know, either way, these guys are looking pretty good.
And this is interesting to see here. I think, did David Medina come? Interesting. Yeah, no, yeah. He's going very, very slow. So I'm very interested to see, did he even take tires on that last stop? No, only fuel. So he's going to take tires on this next stop. So that's very, very interesting right now. Yeah, 56 for him, as up front it's a 57 flat. So about a half a second again, like you said. But still, that's you know, 29-second gap. Scott's coming to pit road now on 55 here to complete 55. I think this is right on the edge. Oh man, Jason Wiley, he continues on. Barefoot continues on, and Dewey came out last lap. So this is whew, Brian, it's gonna be close. I think Wiley though and Barefoot are in good spots.
Yeah, I think Zach Scott at the end of the race might be very, very, very close, but Wiley, I think, and you know, Barefoot. Actually, I think Barefoot's come down this lap
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
or yeah, he's just coming out of pit road. So Wiley actually being able to take that extra lap kind of sets him up in a better position. But I don't know, I feel like he's going a little bit slow right now. I wonder if he's out
Definitely
of fuel,
slower.
or maybe it's just because he's got no more tires left on the thing. But either way, I think we would expect to see him coming down pit road this lap.
We'll see if he elects to do it this time. If he came out this time, it'd be 24 laps for him to make it. We've seen the drivers make it 20 laps. We did use a caution to get that far, but we're pretty confident, for myself at least, up here in the booth, that they can make it at least 20 laps for sure on a tank of fuel. I think he'll be able to stretch that out though. But right now, you know, if you look at the gap, he's got about a 10-second gap. It's 9.5 seconds back to Luis Addison. When Wiley comes down, he'll be able to get tires and be able to maybe stretch that gap to Addison a little bit, but it could be close. Wiley, with the pace that he's doing, it could be a close one for the win. And if Scott can't make it in the 43, then it's really going to be interesting.
Yeah, and Wiley actually, you know, did not pit that lap, so he's going to go another lap, which I think definitely puts him in the window of finishing this race on a full tank, or on a 60% tank.
Definitely a question is, will he come this time right here? And doesn't look like it. So, and from looking at his pit stops, he came down pit road last time at lap 36, or sorry, 35. So it's looking like he can definitely be pitting here in the next few laps, but that's telling us right now, I mean, it'll be 22 to go when they cross the line next time by. He'll have made it 23 laps, so he'll definitely be able to make it to the end. Oh, I think the caution's out on the raceway.
We got a car stopped in the middle of the track.
Yeah, who was that? We're gonna
Looks
have
like
to.
it's Wayne Dewey.
Wayne Dewey. Yeah, Wayne Dewey there. Broken car for him, I think was trying to get it back to pit road. And the 11 machine as he's got the 6 on the thing, just stopped on the racetrack and towed his race car. Not something you want to see there because that brings out the yellow that really affects this entire race. You're going to see here he pulls back up onto the racing surface and questionable call here from Wayne Dewey. I mean, I wonder from Daytona, understand car's broken, but you gotta get off that racing surface before you do this. And that's gonna be a yellow because you see as he comes to a stop here, you're gonna have a car come here by at full speed, and that's the leader, Wiley. Wiley had to go by him, so you know, very very close and dangerous. And now this is gonna let everybody come to pit road. This is throwing every bit of strategy out. And now it's a race.
Yeah, you always like a fuel strategy race or, just a tire strategy race in general. And, we had two completely different strategies going on, but, unfortunately that all gets thrown out the window with that caution. And so now everybody I'd imagine everybody's got a set of tires down pit road. So gonna have a full tank of gas, fresh tires, and it's all gonna be about driving skill and how far you're willing to go to pass somebody from here on out.
How far will you push it? It's going to be a huge question. I think a lot of us are going to ask. We've seen so many drivers bouncing off the wall, and Addison, the leader right now on the 20, he's been I think the main culprit of it. He's hit the wall so many times, but that right side of that 20, completely fine. I wonder if he used the fast repair last time down pit road. They do have two in the pocket, and from our producer, we're getting word he did. So definitely using that. But these cars are very very tough when it comes to hitting that outside wall.
Yeah, very durable. It takes a pretty tough hit to really damage anything, which is very comparable to real life. Like we seen during the Atlanta race today for the NASCAR Cup Series. These guys. I mean, we had damaged cars that were in the lead, but even that, you had guys hitting the wall and just barely a scratch on these things. So really good to see that we get that in the sim as well.
Drivers all coming down pit road to get service done, and this could be the last set of tires for a lot of these drivers. And I looked at someone like David Medina who didn't take a set of tires that one coming down that green flag stop. That could very well come back to his favor if we do get a late race yellow for him.
It can come back into his favor, but the problem is, I think, is that he gave up so much track position doing that, just kind of being slower and having guys pass him that, uh, he's got a lot of work to do. It looks like he's going to be coming out. Actually, I think he may have lost a few positions there, but, somewhere around 10th place. So a lot of cars he's going to have to pass to get back up into the lead and run the pace that he wants. But unfortunately, I think by the time he gets to the lead, he's not going to have much rubber left on those tires to do anything with them.
This is going to be very fun to watch Medina drive from the back of the field, man. He's going to be a man on the mission for sure, and he's got a lot of ground to make up, like you said there, Brian. So he's going to have to find out how that works out for him. It looks like we got Kerry Shaver and Albert Reed here that are out in front of Luis Addison, our race leader. They're going to be looking to get a wave around here, possibly, as they stayed out. The rest of the field came in. Luis Addison, they're going to be up front in that 20 machine. I tell you what, fastest in practice. He's slowly made a little bit of track position game each and every time, and now going to be up front. But I tell you, the driver that I look to the win for the sitting in a golden position, it's got to be Keith Fullen, man. He's found something late in this race. Now going to restart in the second spot, Brian. He's got to be liking that Medina's way back there in the pack.
Yeah, well, I think all these top three guys are looking at the standings or the relative there and seeing that, oh, David Medina is going to be starting 11th. That's really good for us because, Kevin Bullock there in the 62, he's shown that he's got some pretty good short run pace. So, looking for him to maybe steal the lead here early on in this run. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, we talked about it, several times. Keith Fallen definitely has found something at Pocono here later in the race. And he's going to have about 19 laps to show off what he's learned. And, can he pull it off? Or, like you said, Zach, 20, Louis Addison there, fastest in practice, has been looking good all night long as, shown he can drive up through the field. Has had to pass several cars to get back to where he is. So, those three guys right there looking pretty good. And then, you got the 8 of Gene Cato and Johnny Barker in the 6 and Tyler Dingler in the 69 there. That's, your top 3 rows right there. So a lot of good guys up here with, some good pace. So these next 19 laps going to be very exciting.
You heard it there, folks. It's going to be exciting, no doubt indeed. And if you agree with us, make sure you hit that subscribe and that thumbs up button if you're enjoying tonight's broadcast here at the 802 Cup Series. And most importantly, Freaky Fast broadcast as we're bringing all the action here live on 1440p here on YouTube. So, going to be a fun one to watch here. Let us know out there in chat who you're rooting for here in these final 20 laps as we're going to get this action rolling here as the pace car is going to take the hard left-hand turn as we near the Geico restart zone. Luis Addison going to lead us there, and he's off and away. Great start from him there as he's got about a car length gap to Fallen. He's going to hold the lead there down the 1. But what will the 24 have? What will the 62 do? What does the 8 do? Also hasn't shown his short run pace here tonight. Will these drivers push it to the limit? Who saves a little bit? It's got a lot of questions here to be asked at the 802 Cup Series in Pocono.
A really, really good restart by Addison, able to clear, get single file, and it's got like a 5-6 car length gap, and good job on the 62 of Kevin Bullock. They're able to pull just inside of Keith Fallen right there. He's going to be well inside here as they go through the tunnel, turn side by side, but it looks like Keith Fallen going to have that momentum on the outside lane and is going to be able to clear the 62 as they head off into 3.
That's what you love to see if you're Luis Addison in your mirror. Drivers battling for spots, trying to go as fast as they possibly can, but Cato almost into the back of Bullock there. That got a little bit close. It's going to be 3 wide. Dingler on the top side. It's going to be Barker getting into Cato, turn him into the inside wall, and that's going to be a yellow, a quick yellow wave in here. 6th caution of the night as Cato goes around on the front straightaway here from just a small hit from that 6 machine.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like Cato didn't think he was clear in front of Dingler there coming off a 3. He actually had a little bit of room, but he elected to stay down and just, cars got a little bit too close.
Yeah, the car's a little bit too close there, 3 wide, and looks like 2 cars going for the same spot there as Cato is trying to give room possibly to Dingler on the outside there. And, being that car in the middle is a tough thing, Brian. That's where it gets, as you would say, claustrophobic. You're kind of in control of both of those drivers on your outside, and you're kind of just trying to just stay in the spot that is the least amount dangerous for you. And sometimes incidents like that happen. And luckily for Cato and his sake, it doesn't seem like the car's too damaged. Just seems like it took a little bit of a hit there on the rear end. Might possibly still have a fast repair in his back pocket for himself. We'll see if he gets to use that there. But it's again here one more shot and look at it there between there. And there's the contact between him and the 6. Sending him spinning here, and boom, the contact to the rear bumper. Luckily, like I said, contact to the rear and not that front end.
Yeah, Zach, being in the middle in a 3-wide situation like that, your comfort level also kind of depends on what kind of equipment you have. If you're running a single monitor, you really don't know where the guy is on your inside or your outside. So, you're having to do a lot of guesswork as far as where those guys are and where you need to be. But if you're running, like triple monitors, or if you're running a VR headset, it makes it a little bit easier. But still, definitely being in the middle in a 3-wide situation like that, you got to be really, really careful about where those other guys are and where your car is going and where you want to go, because things like that, and even worse things like that, can happen pretty easily 3-wide.
And just like that, we're back under caution due to that incident as they're pacing back around here at the Pocono Raceway. Luis Addison, though, the more caution laps we get, the better this gets for him, Brian. You got to think about that. It's definitely something that's going to help him out here as these laps can pile up. And, Addison, he hasn't been here the last 2 races at Bristol and Michigan, so good to see him return after Daytona and Atlanta. Here tonight is 16th in points. He could use a big run here tonight to help move him up that leaderboard and try to catch up to drivers like Keith Fall, Rob Lowell, and David Lamaga, who are our top 3 drivers in points.
Yeah, last restart, Addison there had a great one. Really pulled it off very well. But if the race goes on like this, where these guys are going to be really aggressive, and we're going to have incidents and cautions, and he's going to maintain that lead position and have to do multiple restarts. He's got to be careful. He's got to make sure he's doing something different on every single restart. You have that Geico restart zone that you can use, but don't always go in the same place. Sometimes go a little early in that zone, make them wait, and go late in the zone. As the leader, you can really play with that little bit of space that you get, and I think if he can do that pretty well, he's going to have a restart that was just as good as the last one every single time.
Got to remember also Keith Fallen coming in here tonight, 2 wins in a row, Bristol and Michigan. Can he make it 3 in a row for the trifecta here at Pocono? I mean, that would be quite the story for him. He's going to have really a fight on his hands here with Luis Addison, Keith Bullock, Tyler Dingler, and Johnny Barker also driving up here to 5th from that 14th starting spot. But we look back all the way to that 10th position. David Medina, he got back into the top 10 there on that restart, so gained a few spots, but definitely going to need the time here to gain the spots and possibly get another yellow to bring it back together once he gets some track position.
Yeah, we didn't have a really long run right there, but I was kind of expecting Medina to maybe pick up a couple spots, but like we saw when he was running up front, those first couple laps for him, where the tires are still cold, he's struggling a little bit. So he really needs to see these runs go green, and I think his best shot is if this thing goes green to the end.
I completely agree with you there. As these guys should be looking to get double filed back up here as the pace car lights click off. It's 1 to green here at the 802 Cup Series here at the Pocono Raceway. It's been a action-packed night here as we've seen a lot of action and a lot of incidents here. But I tell you what, it's been great racing, no doubt. And right now, the result is definitely up in the air. We got so many different contenders. The guy who's looked the quickest all night, back in 10th position. It's going to be a fun final run here down to the end, Brian. What are you thinking? What would you be feeling if you're Medina back there in 10th? How do you work this out? Do you try to go aggressive early, or do you let it shake out a little bit and then make your move?
Well, you really only got about 14 laps left in this race, so if I'm Medina, you're gonna have to put your car in some risky situations if you want to try to win this race. You're gonna have to make it 3, possibly even 4 wide. So, he's got to take every little opportunity he can. It's gonna put him and maybe some other guys in some tricky situations, but you got to do it if you want to win. And if I'm Louis Addison or Keith Fallen or Bullock here, or even Dingler, I'm looking to try to get the clean air as soon as possible. The dirty air in these cars aren't as bad as they were in the Gen 6, but it still does affect these things. And, I still do think that clean air is your best friend. And especially with 14 laps to go, saving tire, you're not doing that anymore. You just want that clean air.
Throw it all out the window. Let's go for the checkered flag time here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting in the 802 Cup Series. Pace car pulls in. Luis Addison going to have control of this field as he takes off and goes. The green flag is back out and away as he gets a great restart here. Could possibly be the final restart of the night as we're nearing 10 to go. It'll be 13 to go when they cross the line next time by. But it's going to be Addison leading them down the 1. It's Fallen trying to hold on to second. He dives it strong into the bottom as he closes the gap of Addison here trying to get the run off the corner.
Yeah, I think on that restart, some of these guys starting to deal with a little bit of tire spin. So, that's something if we get another restart, going to have to look out for. You see Addison up there trying to break the little bit of draft that Keith Fallen would have had. And, while all that's going on up there, you got the 62. Great exit coming out of 2. Almost gets into the back of the 24 of Fallen. Both of those cars slowing up, and that allows Dingler to catch right up to him.
Fallen making the mistake here, going for 3 in a row here at Pocono. Just could not hold on to it. It's going to be Bullock, though, up to the 2nd position, making the ground up. Here is that 54 as Addison is trying to drive away. It's going to be Fallen, though. Does he take a look to the inside? Dingler here right on board with him. He gets all over the backbone for that 24. He can't look too far behind. He's got Rob Lowell, Johnny Barker, and David Lamaga directly behind him.
Yeah, just looking at the pace that Aston is setting right now, he is pulling away slightly, but you got to wonder if this race goes green until the end. The last 5 laps of this race, his tires might be a little bit overheated. So, do you want to push as hard as you can right now, or kind of, just kind of maintain that gap as Keith Fallen now battling back for second, looking on the inside of the 62, going to pull a little bit of a slider, but the 62 going to do a crossover move and try to keep it off the 24, which he almost does, and around he goes. Lowell gets into him, and the 6, a few more cars getting involved.
Multiple cars involved. David Medina also involved. Broken tire from him, and that's multiple different drivers just, man, oh man, involved in this incident here. And right there, just, Bullock was trying to hold the bottom, just got up into Fallen, and from there, the incident transpires. We'll go back on the Freaky Fast replay and see exactly how it worked out. As it's going to be a close call for a lot of these drivers here, and the one who really, unfortunately, had nowhere to go is going to be Rob Lowell here. As you see, just that 62 trying to not wash up into him, gets up into the 24. 24 does a great job holding on to his car, but the 62 comes down. There's Lowell, unfortunately, loses his race car, and Tyler Dingler just narrowly escapes that incident there as Lowell takes the heavy hit. Here comes the 6 of Barker and many others, Lamaga in it, and also the Medina here is it's going to be the 6 of Barker coming through the picture. Nowhere to go for him there, as unfortunately didn't get that car slowed down enough to react to it. And they're going to be involved in that incident. Broken tire. Going to be a lot of fast repairs going around this stop here as we are back under yellow here at Poconos. Man, this place is getting wild.
Yeah, that's the case of, both those guys, Keith Fallen and the 62 of Bullock there. They're both fighting for second for a shot at trying to get the win and having a battle with first place. So it was very important for both of those guys to pass each other as quickly as possible. And, that crossover move, it looked really, really good. I thought he set him up pretty well, but the thing with the crossover like that is you got to be really careful about how much that car pushes on exit, and he just had it push a little bit too much. And I think if Lowell there didn't get to the back of him, I think he would have saved it, but Lowell, you just can't react that fast enough all the time. So just unfortunate set of circumstances, especially from Medina. That's you always hate to see that.
Never want to see that, indeed, my friend. As I tell you what, you're not going to want to go nowhere after this race is over, fans. As it's going to be post-race interviews with our top 3 drivers here at the AO2 Cup Series. As they tell us all about the race, the trials, the tribulations, everything it took to get them onto that podium position. So make sure you don't go nowhere after we throw that checkered flag, because we're going to have post-race interviews. But man, Brian, this race has definitely turned up the aggression level each and every time, and we're losing more and more drivers. I mean, you look at Bullock involved in it. He's back out there as he used his fast repair back in 16th, but it looks like Medina, he's elected not even to come back out. He's on pit road still sitting there. So his night may be done back down to the 17th position. Addison up front, he's took advantage of this very well up front. The 20, falling in the 24, going for 3 in a row. Tyler Dingler, the newcomer there in 3rd. Lamaga in 4th, who's, just had a quiet night there, running right near the end of the top 10. Then Zach Scott there in 5th, who was trying to stretch the fuel. There's storylines all over the place here when we're going to be coming to green here soon.
Yeah, and then you look at Art Greco there in the 88. He was, just kind of flirting with the top 10 all night long. That seemed to be where his pace was, and now he has a shot to get into the top 5. So, a lot of these guys, it seems like that, their finishes come from not only them having good late race pace, but also just staying out of trouble. And I think that's the case for Lamaga and Zach Scott and Greco, and even Barefoot there, just able to stay out of trouble and not have to go to the back of the pack after using a fast repair or anything like that. So yeah, like you said, Zach, all sorts of storylines going around, but I think it's definitely gonna Going to be kind of between Addison and Fallon here for these last few laps, but Dingler might have something to say about it. And Lamaga, you never know. He could have been saving some of his pace for these last few laps. Maybe we hadn't seen all that he's got. So very exciting set of laps coming up.
Well, I tell you, it's going to definitely be that, Brian, as the pace car lights are out and we're heading to that tunnel turn to get all this action started. It looks like Addison getting a little bit of wiggling going back there and forth for him, trying to get some heat in those tires. And, we talk about saving tires a lot. There ain't going to be no saving here, Brian, right?
Oh no, I think saving the tires kind of ended with about 20 to go. But definitely right here, you're going to be fighting for every single inch you can, whether that be in front of you, behind you, to the left, to the right. You're going to be using up every little bit of space that you can, and that includes rubber on the tire.
But let's see how it all shakes out here, folks, at the 802 Cup Series. It's Luis Addison up front alongside him. It's our two-time race winner here, Keith Fallon, trying to go for 3 in a row. Tyler Dingler, the newcomer, on the next row, along with David Lamaga. Who's going to win here tonight at the 802 Cup Series? Into the Geico Restart Zone, and we're off and away. It's going to be another great start from Addison up front. He stays low, trying to get the draft to that number 69 to help him pull alongside. The 24 pulls back up. It's getting feisty here as we got 9 laps to go.
Yeah, Keith Fallon, very good. Managed to get a single file right there. And it's going to be trying to get a good exit out of 1 and see if he can pull up to the back bumper of Louis Addison. All these guys kind of single file, just kind of waiting and biding their time, trying to make any single move that or they can find. Any opportunity they see, they're going to take.
Opportunities are all around for him for sure. Here's going to be coming to 8 to go. There's drivers going left, drivers going right, trying to find positions. But it's Addison up front, still holding the top spot. Fallon, though, hasn't let him get as far away as the run before. This time, though, it's going to be 8 laps to go, and the snaking has begun, breaking that draft down the straightaways, trying not to give that car behind you that advantage. Because I tell you, it is a very powerful draft actually here tonight. So drivers are trying to utilize that. Keith Fallon, though, up front, trying to close the gap down with these drivers. All back here up into the wall is low. And look at this, the 62 trying to come back up through Bullock. This is getting a little bit spicy back here with 8 to go. These drivers all trying to make up spots who were involved in that last wreck. And there's the 21 and the 62 that go around here and bring out another yellow.
Yeah, I think Lowell there, he thought it was clear, but 62 car was definitely there. Just a case of he saw the opportunity in front of him, but forgot about what was beside him.
Yeah, sometimes you can get just literally one tracked in your mind here in racing. You're going so hard for that pass, and that's kind of what it looks like here. As we'll go back on the instant replay, the 62 here on the inside, the 21 coming down the racetrack there and trying to make the move, possibly on barefoot up ahead, who he had the run. But unfortunately, the 62 is there and nowhere to go for Rob Lowell or the 62. And those two involved in another incident here on this caution, and that's going to hurt both of those guys as Lowell broken right rear. I don't even know if he could get that car back to pit road due to the fact that when you break the right rear like that, you don't have drive. You literally turn into a one-wheel drive car, and it does not want to go for him, I think.
Yeah, and even if you do manage to get it to go with that, with that one of your rear tires being broken, it can be pretty difficult to keep that car straight. So we'll see what he elected to do. It looks like he did tow, so looks like he's going to be locked down into maybe 16th, 17th place. Unfortunately, set of circumstances for him. But yeah, you're right, Zach. You get so caught up with racing, looking at what's in front of you, and you get so antsy trying to make up as many positions as you can with the few laps that are left, and sometimes you make a mistake like that. But I'd almost guarantee that he's going to learn from that, and I don't think you'll be seeing him do that again.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate mistake there as it brought us back to yellow. And I tell you, Luis Addison, though, he's got to be liking these yellows. I mean, it's either he's liking the yellows or he's feeling like, man, let's get this race over with. I'm tired of doing this. Tyler Dingler. He made me think for a second he might have decided to come to pit road, as I believe he may have a set of pit of tires still sitting there, as elects not to do it and give up that track position, which I think, as we've seen tonight, been so crucial as the pace lights continue to click on Brian here. We're getting down to it, man. It's going to be probably 4 laps to go when we take the green. Fallen, he's had the one thing I noticed with him. He's been able to drive it really deep into one. So if he gets close, he's going to go for that move.
Yeah, I completely agree, Zach. Right before that caution came out, I was just about to say that that exact thing was that Keith Fallen. It looks like, especially in turn one, he's electing to do the fast in, slow out approach. But the thing about it is that with the draft on the straight and with just how much ground he's making up on the entry to one, it's working out for him. Most of the time you want to think slow in, fast out because straightaway, that's the longer part of the track, higher speed, so you want as much speed as possible. But he's kind of taking the reverse approach, and he was really making that work. So, if I'm in Addison's position, I don't like seeing the cautions because every restart that you have to make, he could make a mistake and lose the lead. So from that perspective, you kind of want to see it go green, but at the same time, it seems like the first, 2 laps that we go green, Addison just, is shoulders above the rest of the field when it comes to that short run pace like that. So, I think if I'm Addison, really, there's pros and cons to both sides, so I don't really mind whatever happens. I just hope that I don't get put in the wall or make a mistake, and I think he can win this race if he keeps it clean.
We'll see if he can keep it clean here. This is he's been doing great on the restarts, man, and we'll see. We'll see. That's what he's gonna have to do here is defend is Fallen. We know he's gonna be attacking him for position here, trying to get for 3 wins in a row, but I mean, look at newcomer Tyler Dingler, man. He has made an imprint here tonight here in that 69 machine. He's been right up, mixed up into the top 6 all night long, and right now in position for a podium or even a possible win. You never know. The 24 to the 20 get into it. That 69 could fall right into the perfect position here, and with 4 laps to go, there's time to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely, Zach. I think if I'm Tyler Dingler, I probably wouldn't push the issue too much with Addison and Fallen there. I think I'd let them race it out. If they slow each other enough to where I can pass both of them at the same time, great. If they put each other in the wall, that's great too. So, but either way, I mean, definitely a third place or better, or even just top 5 or better in your first race here. That kind of speaks volumes to the rest of the guys. Like, hey, you better watch out for me.
Well, I tell you one thing that's gonna be fun to see is, this is when the restart zone gets worrisome for me, Brian. This is the pressure time of the race. Do you crack under that pressure? There's a lot of information that you get as a driver, not to overspeed, not to do this, not to do that. This could be the time where someone overthinks it on this front row, such as Fallen or Addison, and they get a penalty. I mean, it's gonna be crucial times here in the Geico restart zone. We're going to have a fun time watching it here, Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as they come down the short chute and pace towards turn 3. We're going to get these guys back into action. It's been a action-packed last 20 laps, filled with incidents. But I tell you what, we could try to get it green here. We never know. We'll see how it works out. Pace car is going to pull in, and Addison's going to have control of this field. As he comes into the restart zone, he's off and away, and I tell you, that was close to the very start of the zone. We'll have to see if it works out for him here, as he's got a great start out front, and it's going to be Fallen defending that 69.
Yeah, that was pretty early, but he did go roughly about the same place before, and it did not give him a black flag. So I think he's in the clear. Managed to, again, get single file here in front of Keith Fallen. As we got another caution almost immediately.
Another major wreck here at Pocono, and man, Pocono has took victim to many drivers here tonight. As these guys are having a tough time. As looks like this was one of the biggest wrecks of the night. As it looks like that involves Zach Scott in the 43 machine. As it looks like the 88 of Art Greco and him make contact coming off of 1. And Jason Wiley here in the 13, you're going to see he's kind of in no man's land here with nowhere to go, is up ahead, the 43 up into the 88. They come down, the 3 gets a little piece of it. Luckily, oh no, unfortunately, he does get turned around. There comes the 13. He gets a major part. The 44 Fox gets shoved into the inside wall. And from there, it is just drivers trying to miss anything they possibly can here. But man, I tell you, this is going to shove us into overtime. And we do have a little bit of an interesting rule, too, for overtime, Brian. I know that you got this from the talks before the race.
Yeah, Rob Lowell, he kind of runs the driver side of things over here, and I mentioned him. He had a short little drivers meeting before this race, and it was learning something I didn't know. Listening to him talk was, the first start of the race is on green, which is kind of standard, and then every single restart in the race, leader gets to choose when he decides to go inside that restart zone. So that's kind of usually how everybody does it. But here at 802, there is an extra rule where if there is a green, white, checkered, it is on the green flag. The leader does not choose when to go on a green, white, checkered. So, Addison's restart advantage here being the leader, and that's something he's used to keep this lead up to this point. That's now gone. This is a green, white, checkered, and now he has to have that that really good reaction time for when that green flag comes out. So we have a pretty big possibility here that if Keith Follin's reaction time is better than Addison's, Keith Follin could end up with the lead coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, that really puts it in an interesting scenario where it's gonna be very much so. Can Fallon stay on that door? If he can stay on the outside, it gets very, very interesting from that point, I think, and we'll see how it works out. But it looks like we got drivers from 10th on back pitting, so our top 9 going to stay out here. Is we're going to continue to pace here under caution. As we got our official word that it's going to go into overtime. Here's our first attempt at a green white checkered of a possible 2. So we'll see how that works out for these guys, and we'll get them back lined up here in a little bit. But Pocono, a long pace lap here, Brian. It's got a long time for these guys to think. And another thing is, with so many cautions here in this late race right here, these drivers have been kind of cooped up almost. You get that kind of feeling of not going for a while and running these pace laps, and that's where a lot of this aggression comes out. This green white checker, I think it's going to be cranked up to an even higher notch due to these guys knowing pretty much, if you can get out front here, you could possibly go win this thing with how short this race is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime, it seems like the last 20 laps, it's kind of been caution after caution to a certain extent. And as a driver, when it's like that, you almost have this internal clock. It's kind of similar to like a quarterback in football. You hike the ball and then you're sitting in the pocket, and you have an internal clock that's roughly about maybe 3 or 4 seconds, and you feel that clock running out, and okay, well, that, defensive lineman or that linebacker is going to, sack me if I don't throw this ball. And it's kind of a similar thing with the driver when you have caution after caution like this, is that, while you're racing, you kind of feel this internal clock going on, and you feel like, oh man, a caution's about to come out. And it's all psychological, but, you really feel like time is running out, and you have to make everything happen right now. And, and like you said, especially with knowing that this is a green, white, checkered, you have 2 laps, and if another caution comes out, you only have another 2 laps, and if another caution comes out, that's the end of the race. You got to make every single turn count. And, if you thought the elbows were out before, I don't even know what they have left to put out, but that's what is going to be out there.
Well, might as well put the knees out too, I guess. So we're doing all types of things. It's mixed martial arts at this point. We're using all types of combat here to get to the end of this one, man. So it's gonna be fun to watch as these guys have put on a show here at the end. It's gonna be pretty much any man's game now. Is again, those rules about the restart, that's going to change, I think, a lot of this aspect up we've seen before, where Addison has been at will to go whenever he wants. Now he's got to wait for that flagman to wave that green flag. If Fallen time is a little bit better here on this outside line, he gets on that quarter panel. we've seen multiple passes around the outside here tonight. It's going to have to be a send from the 20 there to clear that 24 down into the corner if he's on the quarter panel. Whew, I would be very nervous if I'm that 20.
Yeah, I have to wonder, if Addison was able to pick his lane, if he could have chosen to start on the outside, would that be a better spot for him to be? Because then all he would have to do is if he can't clear the 24 by the time they get to turn one, all he's got to do is just lay it in on his door and pinch him down real hard, and he doesn't stand a chance at passing him. But he's starting on the inside, so we will have to see what happens. Got to get a good restart first, though.
All about the restart here, as we're going to have our first attempt at a green-white checkered here at Pocono at the 802 Cup Series. We'll see when does the green flag fly, when does Addison go, and there we are. Green flag is in the air, and look again. This is what I was saying. Look at the great restart. Fallen is there. He is on the quarter panel as they're going to be side by side going down into one here. This is going to be his chance, but the 20 is going to have to drive it into the corner. The 24 almost a little bit of contact. He's up the racetrack, though. That lets the 20 really drive it into the corner here. He's going to slide the racetrack, but here comes Dingler from behind in the 69. He's going to have a run down the back straightaway.
Yeah, 20 did good right there. He waited just a little bit longer to turn into turn one, which made the 24 have to wait to turn in. And, that's really what kept him in the lead right there. But Dingler looking on the inside of the 24, is he going to have the momentum coming out of two? Yes, he is. What's going to happen in turn three?
Let's see how it works out, but Luis Addison loves to see the side-by-side action behind him. His two-time winner in a row falling there side-by-side with Dinglers. They're getting close, coming off of three, a little bit of touch, but up front is Luis Addison. He's going to see what he wants to see is the freaky fast white flag. One to go here at Pocono for the Independence 60 at the Pocono Raceway. As it's side-by-side for that second spot, Addison drives away. Fallen trying to clear the 69. He pulls down in front. Lamaga in the 34 trying to come back at him. But here's the 69 again. The 24 fighting strong down the back straightaway.
Yeah, all these guys there for a moment were right on top of each other, but here they are going into the tunnel turn. How much is that 24 going to pinch down the 69 car of Tyler Dingler? Not at all. It's really going to give him a lot of room. Is the 69 going to be able to clear? Not quite. He's going to pinch him on the exit, and here comes the 70 right behind him. Killingbeck coming into the picture late in the race. Last corner, turn three. What is going to happen? It looks like the 70 going to look low. Tyler Dingler and the 24 going to be right side by side on exit. Dingler going to have just a little bit of an edge as our winner. Addison going to cross the start finish line and win as they're three wide for second.
Ooh, there it goes. Fallen going to be second, and Dingler going to be third as Addison wins up front. What a finish there. It was 3 by 3 by 3 as Addison wins by 1.2 seconds. He loved what he saw in the mirror as the guys battled back there. Fallen, though, going to take the spot from Dingler there coming down to the end. What a battle between that group. That was fun to watch there, and congrats to Luis Addison. The 20 is going to get a congratulatory bump there from the 24, and here comes the 69 possibly to give the same thing there, as it was a barn burner there, Brian, coming to that checker flag.
Yeah, I mean, you had Keith Fallen and Tyler Dingler there fighting for second place side by side pretty much those whole two laps. So not only did they give us a great finish, but also just great racing up to that point. And, practically coming across the start finish line, you had, three wide for second place and three wide for, fourth or fifth or whatever that position was back there. So crazy finish here at Pocono, which is always cool to see.
Always cool to see here for sure, Brian. But one thing we love to see is this victory celebration here at the 802 Cup Series. It's going to be Luis Addison pulling it down here at the start-finish line. He's going to burn it down here and celebrate his first victory of this season here in the 802 Cup Series. It's Luis Addison in the 20 machine as he burns it down and celebrates here on the front straightaway. We're going to get our top three up here in the booth to have a quick chat with us about their night here at the Pocono Raceway. We'll be back here in a moment, folks. All right, we are back here, folks, after our fantastic race here tonight for the Independence 80 here at the Pocono Raceway here at the 802 Cup Series. It's been a great night racing. I tell you, we finished from 2nd to 10th. I mean, it was so close from all the way from those positions. So definitely going to have a exciting talk with these guys. But let's go ahead and pull up our third place driver here, Tyler Dingler, and talk about his debut here at the 802 Cup Series. Hey, Tyler Dingler, Zach, and Brian up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. Zach, what's up?
Hey, man. Well, great debut here tonight at Pocono, bringing home that third spot. Take us through that battle at the end.
So, I mean, I was just trying to make sure I stayed behind Addison as much as I could in order to get him a good boost for the start, so I can get in front of Keith. But I'm not sure if he had jumped the start or not. But I mean, it's still up for debate. But we all had single filed out. I had gotten the run on Keith off of, I believe, 2, and then we were just double file all through it, and we let Luis run away. But I was holding it to the bottom. That had to have been the cleanest run I've had to make in a while. But I appreciate Keith for the clean race and didn't door me. But yeah, I had a lot of fun today.
Hey, Tyler, it's Brian in the booth, and just kind of want to get a feel for how that car felt for you tonight. It seemed like Dirty Air was kind of maybe a little bit of a problem, but maybe tire wear didn't seem that the car really swung tight or loose in either direction. But how was it behind your wheel tonight?
Usually after it's so weird with the 60% fuel. Because you have to make sure you manage your tires for all 20 of those laps. And by the end of the run, the tires could get, a little worn, but enough to where, you can still race hard. Dirty Air was, I guess I didn't really pay attention to it that much tonight, but I was just making sure that when I was in Dirty Air, I was just keeping my tires clean, so I can, be there if there was a long run. What was it? What else was the question? Was there a second part to that question?
No, I think you got it pretty good. The thing about it is that if you weren't paying attention to Dirty Air, it must not have been that bad. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's kind of how it looked to us from up here.
Well, Tyler, I tell you what, buddy, it was fun to watch tonight. You drive yourself up into that third spot in the 69 machine there. I tell you what, before we let you guys here and go get prepared for Dover next week, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
I'd like to send a shout out to my mom and my dad for buying my simulation rig. Well, I guess not a rig, the computer setup. I'd like to also thank Martin Morales and Christopher Norris for being in the chat there, or being in my voice chat at the end of the race. So shout out to them too. Also Dakota for being in there for a little bit. Who else can I shout out? You guys, obviously, for broadcasting. Without Robert mentioning this league, or they even coming on here, I wouldn't have known about them. And then I had a lot of fun tonight because of it. So thank you guys.
Well, awesome stuff, Tyler. Thank you for the kind words, buddy, and we'll catch you next time back out here at the O2 Cup Series.
Thank you. Later.
All right, everybody. That was your third place driver here tonight in the 69 machine. That's Tyler Dingler there, as he had a fantastic run. We're going to go to the driver that's coming off 2 wins in a row, had an off week, comes back with a second place finish. Another great drive for Keith Fulton. Hey, Keith, it's Zach up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Well, man, I tell you what, a great battle here tonight for yourself in that 24 machine, dude. 2 wins coming in here back to back, coming to Pocono tonight. It seemed like you got better and better as the race went on tonight. Take us through your night, though.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the race, I think I was driving it in a little bit too hard and just heating up my right front too much, and that caused me to slip back a little bit. And after that first stage, I focused on backing up my corners a little bit so I wouldn't overdo my right front. And the last stage, or the last, little bit of the race, I was hoping a little bit more green flag racing. And I think we've had a little bit more green flags. I could have got up to Lewis and made a battle for it. But congrats to him. And I want to appreciate my teammate, David Medina. He helped me out a lot with this track. And my dad, he gave me some pointers too.
Hey Keith, it's Brian in the booth, and yeah, we saw at the beginning of the race, maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say off pace, but definitely in the second half of the race, it just seemed like he came out of nowhere and really was making that thing work. But kind of looking back in hindsight at the race and looking at what Addison was doing and what happened there at the end. Do you think there's anything that you could have maybe done differently to maybe have had a closer shot at the win there?
Yeah, maybe pit a little bit sooner on that first or second pit stop we had. We gave up a lot of time uh, after we stayed out. I think the longest, me, David Medina, and Kevin Bullock. We gave up a lot of time, and I was catching Lewis, but then that caution came out, and we're all back on equal tires. I just wish I would have pitted a little bit sooner, and I think I could have got around him before that caution came out.
Well, definitely a wild finish for us up here in the booth, Keith. Man, congrats on second here tonight. We moved to Dover next week. How you feel about Dover?
Well, we'll see. I had never ran a lap at Dover, so I'm going to be doing a lot of practice this week. But it seems like a track that fits a lot my style of racing, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and seeing how we could do next week at Dover.
Well, Keith, it's definitely going to be fun to see that, man. But before we let you get out of here, anybody wants to send a shout out to?
Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to my dad, my mom, my lovely wife, my teammate David. Especially, thank you, man, for helping me out. This is not my best track whatsoever, and I made leaps and bounds practicing with him. So a huge shout out to David.
Awesome stuff, Keith. Well, man, congrats on second here tonight, and we'll catch you at Dover next week, man.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, everybody. That was your second place driver here tonight. Keith Fallen coming off 2 back-to-back wins, gets another second place finish to build on that points lead. But the winner of tonight, it's going to be the 20 machine of Luis Addison. Let's bring him on up in the booth to talk about his first win here at the 802 Cup Series. Hey, Luis, it's Zach and Brian up here in the booth. You got a copy, man. Well, great finish to that race for you there, man. Had to go through so many restarts there. Take us through that, because that had to be nerve-wracking. Oh, we might have a little bit of an issue here, guys. We're trying to fix the technical difficulties. Hold on one moment here. Luis says, I think we're good to go. Okay, all right, sorry about that.
Hello?
But yeah, man,
What's
that
up, man?
nerve-wracking ending there. Take us through that there, because that definitely, you had so many restarts and possibilities to mess that up, but just perfect there coming all the way down to the end.
Yeah, man, that's probably the most stressful I've ever felt on iRacing right there, because there's so many options for like what happens if someone has a better start than me, get side by side with Keith, because Keith is a really good driver. When you get side by side with him through our practice races we had with him, I was wondering how am I going to keep up with Keith if we're side by side, and right there I was just lucky with getting the lead and all, and that's just how everything played out.
Hey, it's Brian in the booth, and when we get that green white checkered and knowing that you can't really you don't have control of the field anymore. You have to go on that green flag and just take us through that. And then when you're pulling away and you see those two guys behind you battling for second place, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it did feel pretty good. And also on that green white checkered, the green whites came up on my screen, and I spun the tires a little bit, had to get out of the gas, and then got back into it. And the other guys thought I was jumping the start, so we had a little conversation afterwards, and we explained it. But seeing them battle side by side was definitely probably the best side I could have seen, other than them, spinning. But you never want that. But it was a good run for us, and hopefully we can get it next week at Dover.
Yeah, definitely talking about that, Luis. Man, heading into Dover next week, interesting track. We've hadn't seen you the past 2 weeks, but now come back here with a win. How's that feel? And or not, how's it feel? But how's it going to be going into Dover next week?
Well, I feel pretty confident. I've missed the last 2 weeks due to an injury, but come back feels good to win. And going into Dover, I feel very good about that track because I ran my NIS race there and I did pretty good there and got the win there. So I do think that I can win there at Dover, but if I don't, I'm just try to get the best position I can do.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch, man. Congrats on the win tonight. But before we let you get out of here, Luis, anybody want to send a shout out to?
I would like to send out a shout out to my family, also one of my good friends, Barrett, who knows he races me very cleanly on the server, and he also races me pretty hard, and I want to send a shout out to him. I want to send out a shout out to you guys for broadcasting this and getting us on the YouTube and stuff like that. Also want to send a shout out to that's really about it. But thank you guys for broadcasting this.
Hey, thank you, Luis, and congrats on your win here tonight. We'll catch you at Dover next week, man.
All right, 10-4.
All right, everybody. That was your race winner here tonight, Luis Addison. What a drive for him to win here at the Tricky Triangle, and just a track that always seems to, bring up wild finishes, and this one was definitely that. As we look to our race results, it's Luis Addison getting first. Second's going to go to Keith Fallen. Third's going to go to Tyler Dingler. Fourth's going to be Mike Killenbeck. Fifth's going to go to David Lamaga. With sixth going today to Gene Cato. Seventh's going to be Rodney Roberts. Great rebound for him there, starting at 19th. Eighth's going to go to Johnny Barker. Ninth's going to be Albert Reed, our pole setter. And rounding out our top 10 here in the Freaky Fast field is, our Freaky Fast top 10 is Kevin Bullock. As we look through the rest of this order here, definitely Medina down there in 11th, Brian. That one's got to stick out for me as a guy who had a possible shot at this, and even Rob Lowe back there in 17th.
Yeah, well, and another guy, too, finishing 12th is Jason Wiley. If we didn't have that one caution at that one point in the race when he was up in the lead and looked like he had the good fuel strategy going, he possibly could have won this race if things would have worked out. But, unfortunately had that caution and, finishing 12th. So that can just really goes to show how, one caution can really turn things on its head.
Definitely one caution can turn things on its head, right? I think you put that perfectly, especially at Pocono, a track as big as this. It can shake up the strategy at one giant moment. So definitely a wild night here at the AO2 Cup Series at the Pocono Raceway, as we had a fun time calling all the action up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Next week, we head off to Dover here. So, Brian, heading into Dover next week, what are going to be the key aspects here is we've got some new drivers added into the fold. I think that's going to make Dover a very interesting race.
Man, Dover. Personally, I absolutely love Dover. It's a track. You could compare it to Pocono, really, in the only sense that it's so different than anywhere else we go. It's kind of its own track. It's a 1 mile track, concrete. You could consider it a short track, but it really races like 1.5 miles. So, really big corners. You got all sorts of really kind of altitude changes almost. You got a 2-story drop going into the corner and then a 2-story climb coming out of it. Just a great track, a really racy track. But it'll all depend on the dirty air. I don't really know how this next-gen car is going to react there to Dover. I feel like it's going to be pretty good. And I also think that these drivers may have to pay attention more to their rear tire wear than their front. So Dover going to be a completely different challenge than these drivers have seen all season long.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. Yeah, it's a very comparable to Pocono, with it being a completely different track than anything else out there on the circuit. High banks, concrete, lots of tire wear, and from what we've seen in this league, low fuel load, very limited amount of set tires. These guys are going to be looking for some good years at any point during that race. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. You're not going to want to miss any of that action here live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we got plenty of other action going on throughout the week here, as we'll be back really tomorrow night for the start of the Incredible Sim Racing Challenge, as that is our Monday Night Truck Series that we've been classically calling, and now a new name, a new face, a new look, but all the same drivers going back at it after we've seen that titanic battle of a series there. We have a series coming up on Tuesday nights very soon. Also, we have a series on Wednesday nights also. Thursday nights, it's throughout the week. Saturday nights, WSSR's back. There's so many different leagues here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting that you're not going to want to miss out on. So make sure you hit that subscribe, that like button, so you can see the best sim racing action in iRacing here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But as we always say, thank you for tuning in. We love you all. Stay freaky fast.